Hey guys, welcome back to the channel here on Camo Crappie, and once again we are searching for crappie. The lake, as you can see, it's in this video it's 50 degrees. This was filmed last week before the torrential downpours that came in on New Year's Day. So this is like 2 days before that. I'm out on the water, got 50-degree water temps, and just trying to find some crappie. They'd migrated out of the river. There was some mud that had come down from some heavy rains that we had had earlier that week, and pushed that we really wanted to fish up the creek, but with that mud, I went up there, I'd found a couple. I didn't really film, but, well, I didn't film at all, or you'd see the footage. But I found a couple fish, but they were really just scattered. So I'd come back towards the dam. Of course, this is on Green River Lake, and just went, looking at some new spots, or some spots that I hadn't fished, and found some crappie. Right here, they're on like a laid down tree, but if you look back there in the background, you see some standing timber, some stick ups, and I thought I'd give that a try. I also found them on some other structure as well that I didn't get any footage of. But today's video, I'm going to show you as I worked through this standing timber, just kind of what it looks like, kind of what I was seeing, and talk a little bit about how everything is also changing. You can see there the water has actually warmed up to 51. The reason why I was showing 50 earlier, because this is, just a few minutes after that, is I guess where the trolling motor was up out of the water, it may have been cooler air temperatures. But I got my LiveScope knocked out there to 50 feet, just so then it gives me a little bit more area where I can scan. The water clarity is pretty good here, so not really having to worry about getting the bait, smacking the fish in the face with it. So I'm able to back it off to 50 feet, and just gives me a little bit, because I'm trying to make big casts to not spook these fish and stay off of them. And whether the dot looks huge or looks really, really small, it doesn't matter, because the goal is to catch fish. So whether you've got a big signature or a little signature, the main thing is just that you understand what you're seeing. And you can see here, these are medium-sized signatures, and definitely nothing like what we're seeing on Cumberland, but we're catching bigger fish on Cumberland. I was actually, after I filmed this, like 2 days later, I was back on the water and was actually bass fishing with my uncle. He loves to bass fish. I love to crappie fish, so I took him bass fishing, and we're just moving right along, scurrying along. That's actually one of the best ways to find crappie is to go bass fishing. Or at least I'm not that great of a bass fisherman, but the way I bass fish, and the way that he really likes to do it, whether it's March, July, or January, he wants to take a crankbait and go up and down the banks casting that crankbait. So that's what we were doing, and he caught him a little smallmouth doing that. So he enjoys doing that, and I just enjoy being on the water. So that's what we were doing. And lo and behold, of course, I'm scanning with the LiveScope while we're beating the bank, and I pan over in like 30 foot of water, and boom, there they are. there was a lay down sticking out, so the fish they weren't on the bottom, but it was in deep water and the structure was up. And we caught like 3 pretty good crappie, and there was still more there before he got hung in it. And once he hung in it, then the fish scattered. But worked around with it. The crazy thing about this last week really was that the fish, I even talked to Kenny, and the fish all seemed to shut down at like 1 o'clock. I talked with another buddy of mine who was fishing on Dale, and he and his dad were fishing. They caught some good fish. I think they had 1 or 2 over 2 pounds down there, and may very well be where I end up fishing here in the next couple weeks, because our lake has come up. But he said the same thing. He said they were catching fish, and then along about dinner time they just shut down on them. Me and Dad fished Cumberland, and we ended up with 30 good keeper fish, and we made a big meal out of them. But they shut down right at, like, we were catching them pretty good. They were biting pretty good, and then right there at 1 o'clock they just kind of quit biting. So don't really know what the deal was with that last week. I don't know if it was a moon phase or what was going on. But knowing that, just, I don't know. It's something you kind of have to be aware of. You think, oh, you get LiveScope, you can find the fish, they'll bite. Even on this day here, like, it's almost 2 o'clock. I believe it's 2 o'clock Eastern time. It'd be 1 o'clock. It'd be 12:50 slow time. But even these fish here, you won't see it. I actually had quit filming, but they just kind of quit. They shut down. Was still seeing a bunch of fish. I was actually on the other side of this creek here. I'm fishing this side, the right side, and then whenever I was coming out, I was side scanning. I was like, daggone, there's a bunch of fish there. So I stopped, spun around. I caught like 1, and which it could have also been boat pressure. Sometimes whenever you drive the boat over top of the fish, it'll cause them to not want to bite. But you see here, I thought, well, I'm gonna try switching it up, and I went to a longer pole and started straight poling, and it didn't help. I seen some bigger signatures, but honestly, I believe they were maybe a bass or a catfish. It could have been a crappie. But you see this big one here kind of moving through. It really, I don't know, just not really moving like crappie. You see how it kind of disappears just down into the mud, and sometimes they'll fool you. I've seen fish that I would have thought was definitely a crappie turn out not to be a crappie. I've seen fish that I thought was going to be an off-brand species, and it be a crappie. So, at the end of the day, they're all fish, and it's, what this is doing. It's not giving you a picture per se of what it is. It's emitting sound waves down into the water, and you're getting, just like with a radar emits light rays, this here is emitting sound waves. And you see that was just kind of a bonus fish. It wasn't on anything. It wasn't real big. But as I was moving to this further up onto this other structure, there it was. So I caught it. We went down to Kentucky Lake to fish a tournament, and we went down early to beat the snow. We didn't expect it to snow, as early as it did, but we got down there, decently early, and we wwere, I don't know, maybe 10 miles from the lake, and it started snowing. You see here, I'm trying to let this little fish here, let it shake off, and it wouldn't do it. It just would not let go. So I ended up having to catch it and take it off the hook. But we got down there and got snowed into a cabin for 2 days. The road crew's done a really good job. We were actually able to get out on the lake today, and the stinking GoPro, I don't know what happened, but deleted all the footage. I had a ton of footage of the snow and everything, and we we got on the fish with about 2 hours left to fish today. They didn't have the tournament; they've rescheduled it, so worked out good. It will hopefully, everything works out good where we can fish it at the new scheduled time. But got down there and got snowed in for 2 days. But I think Kenny, I know he was running a GoPro, so hopefully he got some footage, and you can go over to his channel and check that out maybe later this week. I don't know. I'll update you if he posts a video. But had a great time. Wasn't the trip we had hoped for, but it ended on a really good note. There in the last hour of us fishing, we got on several fish, so it was a big time. But appreciate y'all watching, and we're gonna keep looking for them, and we'll see you on the water.